What is up guys, it's your boy Solheim here, back with another Classic WoW video for Season of Discovery. Now today we are once again taking a look at Phase 4 investments, aka items you can buy right now in Phase 3 and hopefully sell in Phase 4 to make some profit. Now I say once again because this is going to be video number 2 on my YouTube channel about this. The previous one is a video that I uploaded very recently on my channel that you can find by looking for this image in my most recent videos. That is the thumbnail of that one, talking more about just general items, general investments, some craftables, some materials, and stuff like that. Today we're focusing on a whole different category of items, and we're talking about somewhat steady investments. Instead of like going to high risk, we're looking at items that will pretty much like undoubtedly be in higher demand in the next phase, that will then give us a profit. Now, based on that, we're going to be talking a lot about consumables in this video, so materials required to make flasks, potions, elixirs, cooking recipes, stuff like that, consumables that people are using to raid, to do PvP, any consumable really that will be in demand at level 60, we're taking a look at today, and I'm coming out with my opinions on why these items will be going up in price. As always, if you want to have early access to my gold making videos, check out my Classic WoW gold making guide through the link down below. This is a full-fledged gold making document with everything in one place and gives you access to a private gold making Discord community where I give you guys even more tips and tricks and give you early access to videos in return. I also have a Patreon where I'm giving you guys one exclusive video per month, only available on Patreon, as well as pretty much daily posts. I'm trying to post as much as I can while giving you guys valuable information at the same time over on Patreon, so consider supporting me over there to make even more gold than you have in the past. So there we go. If you want to check those out, the links will be down below. You can help me out, be a better content creator, and I can help you make some more gold in return as well. Now let's talk about investments. So for these investments, we're going to be using a mix of the auction house with TSM to show you guys the prices on my auction house, and we're also going to take a look at Wowhead to show you what the items are used in. So here we go. Item number 1 is going to be ghost mushrooms. So ghost mushrooms are used in these crafts right here, the elixir of demon slaying, shadow power, ghost dye, invisibility potion, and limited invulnerability potions as well. Now for me, the most important one there are the elixirs of shadow power, and going to my auction house right now, we can for example take a look at both of these. We have the ghost mushrooms we can take a look at first. They're going for 2.7 gold. They also have a region market value average of 3.3, which means that my auction house is a little bit cheaper than usual. Then we have the elixir of shadow power as well. This one is going for 6 gold for 1 elixir, and we can also see the recipe right there. So these ones are pretty good. They're used by Shadow Priest, for example, and will still be used by Shadow Priest in the next one as well, like next phase. Going over to the next item worth looking into, we have Firebloom. Fireblooms are also an item that will be worth looking into for the next phase, because right now it's not really used in anything, while in the next phase it will at least be used in something, or at least in future phases. Now exactly if it will be used next phase we don't know yet, but it could be, it depends on what Blizzard does here, but it's used in some future crafts that we will get access to at some point. We have the Brilliant Wizard Oil, for example, right here, requiring 2 large brilliant shards and 3 Fireblooms, and we have the regular Wizard Oils as well, requiring 3 Illusion Dust and 2 Firebloom. We also have the Elixir of Greater Firepower, requiring 3 Fire Oil and 3 Firebloom. Now, both the Brilliant Wizard Oil, Elixir of Greater Firepower, and the regular Wizard Oil were originally not available until the AQ phase. That being said, we do already have the lesser Wizard Oils in the game from phase 1, so if you ask me, at least the regular Wizard Oils should be available in phase 4. And what I can see Blizzard doing here is giving us the lesser or the regular Wizard Oil, so these ones down right here, I can see them giving us those in phase 4 and then keeping the brilliant ones later down the line. So we can see the regular Wizard Oils in the next phase, making it so that both the Illusion Dusts and the Fireblooms are more valuable than they are right now, because they're really not used in anything right now. Now, going over to my auction house, we can take a look at Firebloom. I've been buying a couple of these myself, and they're currently selling for 20 silver. Now, I'll tell you this much, that is a big jump in price. I have bought 400 of them for 10 silver each, and that wasn't even that long ago. So for me, like you can see, last purchase was 4 days, 21 hours ago, and I pretty much bought them all in one big purchase. So 4 days ago, they were half the price they currently are, in which case 20 silver might be a bit expensive. But use JP Worgen, for example, to scout the auction house on your server and try to get them for cheap. Now, moving on for Firebloom, we have way more investment to talk about. So we, for example, have Gromsblood as well. Gromsblood are used in quite a few different crafts, and looking here, we have the Elixir of Brute Force, Demon Slaying, Detect Demon, Giants, Flask of the Titans, Major Troll's Blood Potions, and Mighty Rage Potions. Now, here's the thing, when it comes to Flasks of the Titans, those could be and probably will be available sometime in phase 4 or a future phase, and we can go inside and start making those. And they require 30 Gromsblood each. They also require a Black Lotus, by the way, but so far they've been using the Season of Mastery changes, which means that if they do the same thing for Black Lotus, that means that every high level herb, like Gromsblood, Mountain Silversage, Plaguebloom, they have a roughly 2% chance to drop Black Lotus, which means that 30 Gromsblood is going to be a lot when it comes to these flasks, and a lot of people want to have these flasks. It's 1200 health, so this one could drive a significant demand for Gromsblood, but even if it doesn't, we still have Elixir of Brute Force, and we have Elixir of the Giants, and we have Mighty Rage Potions, which still just gives a massive constant demand for Gromsblood. Going over to my auction house, we can take a look at my service price for this as well. I've been buying and flipping a lot of these already in phase 3 and making a lot of gold by doing so. Now, right now they're down to 1.3, which on my server is a pretty good price. So for me, I could actually buy these right now and make some profit, and as you can see, I have bought 303 of them for an average price of 92 silver. That being said, the spread here is huge. It's going from 90 silver or 91 to 1.7 gold. So the spread between like cheap and expensive is absolutely massive, but you can still make lots of gold from this one. So, with that being said, we can move on to my personal biggest investment out of the items I'm talking about today, Mountain Silversage. And the reason why I'm personally investing into this is that I have the recipe for Greater Arcane Elixir, increasing spell damage by up to 35 for 1 hour. The best flask for pretty much any caster out there for all the phases, unless Blizzard goes crazy and adds a new one. So this one is in high demand right now, making lots of gold with it in phase 3, and nothing should be changing for the next phase. The only thing is that more people probably get access to the recipe, but it's still going to be a pretty rare recipe, and a pretty expensive recipe. So for me, I have that one. We also see it being used in the Flask of Supreme Power, for example, increasing damage done by magical dispels and effects by up to 150, requires 30 Dreamfoil and 10 Mountain Silversage. We also have it used in Elixir of the Mongoose, for example, which warriors will still be using, rogues will still be using, hunters will still be using, people will still be using those flasks. So this will be a constant demand for these items, requiring 2 Mountain Silversage. We also have it in the Flask of Chromatic Resistance, 10 Mountain Silversage right there, living action potions, major healing potions, you name it. This item will be in high demand for pretty much the entire phase, for the entire rest of the game pretty much, and on my server right now they are selling for, last time I checked, 1.5 gold. We can take a look now, Mountain Silversage, 1.48, and as you can see I have bought 5,523 of them. This is an investment that I personally have a lot of faith in, and I do believe will be going up in price, and it really depends like when it comes to how much it goes up in price. If we get Incursions 2.0 and it just causes massive inflation, the prices will reflect that inflation. So Mountain Silversage could go up to 3 gold each, 4 gold each, 5 gold each. Really depends on, like, if we get Incursions 2.0 and people make 300 gold per hour from doing that while leveling to level 60, like, the inflation on items in demand is going to be crazy. But even if we don't have inflation, these are still in demand and should be going up in price at level 60 either way. Next up, we have another herb, and trust me, we're almost done with the herbs now, but they are really worth talking about, and there's a lot of gold to be made by buying herbs now while they're somewhat cheap and selling them when they're more expensive. So here we go. The next one is going to be Dreamfoil. Now, I just mentioned the Dreamfoil, even though we're talking about Mountain Silversage, just to show you that they're used in a bunch of the same crafts, plus more crafts as well. So Dreamfoil, you need one of them for the Elixir of the Sage, which we actually have to hand in for the Elixir of the Potion Master quest, and we also have Flask of Distilled Wisdom, giving you 2000 more mana, requiring 30 Dreamfoil, Flask of Supreme Power, 30 Dreamfoil, Greater Arcane Elixir, 3 Dreamfoil, and we just have all of these protection potions, sleep potions, even Greater Fire Protection potions need these, even Greater Frost whenever that becomes a thing, like for example Nax, right? That requires Dreamfoil, Greater Holy, Dreamfoil, Greater Nature, Dreamfoil, Greater Shadow, Dreamfoil, Major Mana Potions, Dreamfoil, Replace supplies, also Dreamfoil. Dreamfoil is in big demand, dude. So Dreamfoil you can't really go wrong with. It really depends on the price of which you're able to find the Dreamfoils. But for example, going to my server's auction house, we can take a look at Dreamfoil. I've been buying them for about 60 silver each, but they're up to like 1 gold now. Yeah, here you can see that they're up to 94. And looking at their region market value average, they are 68 on average. So my server is a little bit on the expensive side here, but I'm still making gold with them, and as you can see I have bought 5,039 of them for an average price of 60 silver each on the Dreamfoils. Now we have one more herb to talk about, so going back over to Wowhead we can take a look at Plaguebloom. Plagueblooms are used in a lot of different crafts, mainly the elixir of the mongoose. So going down here we have elixir of brute force, mongoose, sages, mage blood potion, major troll's blood potions, and purification potions, and as you can see it requires 2 Plaguebloom for every single one. There's not really much more to say about this one, it's just that they are very cheap quite often on the auction house, and they're used in for example mongoose elixirs, which are used by melee, and if you've been playing SOD from phase 3 onwards, you know that melee is it's pretty good. Melees are pretty good, so this could be a good purchase for you. Going to my auction house, the Plaguebloom have been going down in price by quite a bit, and they're reaching a price that I'm quite comfortable with, so 75 silver each. And as you can see, I've been buying 1,687 of them for once again a huge spread, between 50 silver and 1.4 gold, so a huge spread there on like what's cheap and what's expensive, but either way you can see 75 silver right now on my auction house, and the region market value average is 1 gold on these, so for once my auction house is actually cheaper than the normal price. Either way, those are pretty much the herbs done. We do have one more herb to talk about in this video at some point, but we're going to skip over herbs for now and go over to solid stones. Solid stones are used in crafting a lot of different things, but mainly the solid blasting powder. And going further into this, we can click on the solid blasting powder, and that's actually used in crafting, for example, the goblin sapper charges, which could be useful in the next phase. I haven't really seen that many people use them right now in phase 3, but that could also be because I'm not in a big try-hard guild. But they are used in, for example, the Goblin Sapper charges, which requires 3 solid blasting powders and an unstable trigger, all of which requires solid stones to make. So this one could be pretty good, and as you can see, it does a lot of damage to everything around you. It's a big AoE blast, so this one could be going up in price, and it's usually very cheap. Going to my server's auction house, and once again, one of the reasons why I'm doing this is to give you guys an example price of what you can buy them for. Now, when it comes to the prices, they will be different from server to server, so take my prices with a massive pinch of salt. But for me, they're 5 silver each on the low end, and about 6 to 7 silver each on the usual end. So I'm just going to buy all the cheap ones here, because they are way cheap, like 5 silver per stone. I haven't seen them be that price in quite a while, but 6 silver each is usually what they sell for on my server. So there we go, that's a little bit of the solid stones, and as you can see, region market value average is 5.6. Going over to the next investment, this one could be absolutely massive, and I should not give it away this early because I've been getting them kinda cheap, but refined deeprock salt. This one is used by the Salt Shaker, which has a 3-day cooldown, and you have to have leatherworking to use this. Allows an experienced leatherworker to turn deeprock salt into refined deeprock salt. Use of the device exposes the user to subcore micro radiation, and should not be used more than once every few days. Now, as you can see, this is a reagent for making cured rugged hide, and cured rugged hide is used in a bunch of leatherworking crafts, which becomes available in the next phase. Well, I mean, many of them are available now, but they're really not really relevant to you, because they require you to be level 50 plus, sometimes level 60, to actually use these items. So for example, we have the Blood Tiger items, which gives you a bunch of critical strike, for example, Black Dragon Scale, a lot of epics, Chromatic Cloak, for example, this one, 1% crit, Chromatic Gauntlets for a bunch of attack power, Core Hound Belt, Devil Sword Set, Dream Scale. It's used even in the Hide of the Wilds, which is a really good healer item, in which case you might want to look into Living Essence, by the way, High Essence of Water, even Larval Acids if you find those really cheap. Anything used in making this one could make you a lot of gold, but once again we're focusing on the cured rugged hides here. As you can see, they're used in a bunch of crafts, and they're all level 60 items. In some cases, like for example going back up to the Devil Sword leggings, it's level 55. But it's still unusable to us right now in Phase 3, so the premise here is that these are in no demand at all in Phase 3, and will absolutely skyrocket in demand in Phase 3, in Phase 4, and pretty much every single phase forwards. We even have the Primal Bat Skin, like so much agility and hit percentage out the wazoo, you're getting hit capped easily. So this one is using a bunch of leatherworking crafts, which will be either best in slot or pre-raid best in slot. Going away from the this and going to my auction house, we can take a look at the refined deeprock salt, which is selling for 12 gold. Once again, the thing here is that bots cannot mass produce this. Nobody can mass produce this. It's a very limited supply, has a 3-day cooldown to make, so for me I've been buying 13 of them for 8 gold each, and they're currently selling for 12.8, and I am considering buying all of these out. Like, actually, 12.8 for a 3-day cooldown to me sounds way too cheap, especially when they could explode in demand in the next phase. But let me know what you think down below. Let me know the prices on your servers as well in the comments down below, and let me know how much gold you think this could be selling for in Phase 4. Now, going back to herbs for a bit, we have the Swift Thistle. This is an herb that I mentioned back in Phase 1 and in Phase 2 that it could be a good investment for the future. Back then they were selling for 20 silvers each, and they are used in crafting a couple of useful things, like long term, like for example swim speed potions, swiftness potions, but also thistle tea, which are used by rogues. So thistle tea instantly restores 100 energy on a 5-minute cooldown, and requires 1 swift thistle and also refreshing spring water and cooking in order to make, which means that rogues wants to have this, and they're paying a little bit for this one. And swift thistles right now, once again, referring back to Phase 1 and Phase 2 when I made videos talking about why you want to invest into this item, they were going for 20 silver each, and right now, last time I checked, they were about 1 gold. Yeah, 1.2 gold. Now, region-wide, the region market value average, they're 65, so when it comes to what price you should purchase them for, it really depends on the server you play. I would say try to get them at or below 75 silver, and you should be somewhat safe. But once again, it's very dependent on your server and also your region, because these are the prices in Europe, but if you play in North America, it could be way different. Either way, Swift Thistle, there we go, that should be the last herb as well for this video. Now we have a bunch more consumables to talk about. We have 5 more to go through, so we are nearing the end of the video. Now, this one right here, this one is weird, and some of you guys might also think it's weird. It's Boggling Root. Increases physical damage done by 1 for 10 minutes. You get this one at level 4, or between level 4 and level 7, in Teldrassil. and it's selling for between 3 and 5 gold on my auction house. It is crazy, and you can pick up several of them at the same time. Now, as you can see, they're dropped by Bogglings in the Teldrassil, the level 5 mobs, and in order to spawn those mobs, you have to, I can just look at this comment here, how to farm Boggling root for the Fury of the Boggling buff, aka plus 1 damage for 10 minutes. Now, the reasoning why, like, let's just say your weapon does 100 damage, now it does 101, so it's a 1% increase for the most part, and people are willing to pay that for parsing, right? Because they hit more on their white hits, they hit more on pretty much everything. So step 1, create a Night Elf character and complete quests in Shadowglen area until you reach level 4. Then you go to Dolinar, pick up the Timberling Seeds quest, looting 8 seeds. You then go to Darnassus, then you pick up the Glowing Fruit, and you hand this in to Denalan at Dolinar, and he will spawn, like, you plant the seed in the box next to him, and 3 Bogglings will spawn. Kill the Bogglings, and they will each drop 1 Boggling root. So doing this entire step, which is a 5-step process, you can get 3 roots at the same time. Now, should you go out there and farm this? Probably not. Like, number 1, first of all, I've seen hunters that are camping while being shadow melded and stealing people's tags. So they're really annoying to farm, but also it takes a lot of time to level up to level 4 and go through that quest chain just for 3 Boggling root. And going to my auction house, Boggling roots are selling for 3.74 gold. So if you get all 3 tags, you would make about 10.5 gold, or let's just say 11 gold to keep it simple, 11 gold from probably about 20 minutes to half an hour of work. You would make 11 gold. Now, it's really good. If you're playing on a brand new server and you're starting fresh, you can have 11 gold at level 5, which is pretty insane, by the way, as long as you're playing a Night Elf, of course, so you can make a lot of gold really early. No class requirements, no profession requirements, no nothing. You literally just do a couple of quests and loot these from mobs. They're really nice, but I would say it's a pretty good investment, because warriors are buying these, rogues are buying these, hunters are buying these, melee hunters that is, any melee wants to have this one, increasing physical damage by 1 for 10 minutes. Now, it's only for the top end of tryhards, but that is where we make gold. The top end of tryhards are willing to cash out. Alright, for the next investment, we are going back to something I've talked about in the past. It's Firefin snappers, and Firefin snappers have been a bit of a roller coaster so far in Phase 3. First of all, they are used in making fire oil. Now, fire oil is further used in a couple of crafts, namely the upcoming Elixir of Greater Firepower, which could become available in Phase 4, could become available in Phase 5. It's pretty much up to Blizzard on this one. It did originally become available in the AQ phase, aka the OG Phase 5, but knowing Blizzard, they could launch it earlier, and in the worst case scenario, if they don't, well, we still are going to be using elixirs of regular firepower, which are still using 2 fire oils instead of 3. So either they give us access to the elixir of greater firepower and the profit here absolutely skyrockets, or we keep making profit by turning it into the regular elixirs of firepower, plus it's used in fire protection potions, which could be the cheaper alternative to the greater fire protection potions. So they have a lot of use cases coming up in the next phase. Now, Firefin snappers, like I said, they've been a roller coaster so far this phase, and they've gone so much up and down in price. Now, for now, they have basically, actually never mind, they've just been flipped again, but I bought, earlier today, I bought several thousand Firefin snappers. I bought 120 stacks of 20, so 2,400 or something based on my math, and I bought them for 8 silver each. That is the price of Phase 1 and Phase 2 Firefin snappers, so they've been reverting back to their Phase 1 price, but as you can see right now they have been flipped again or bought out, so they're 17 silver now, which I'm happy with because I have so many mails waiting for me full of Firefin snappers, so that was good timing because I saw them being really cheap. I bought out every single one, and right now I'm pretty happy about that. But once again, they're using fire oils, which are also selling for 41 silver, on my auction house, and the region market value average is 45. So these ones are actually kind of good, and they're really a roller coaster. So you want to buy them when they're on the low end. Once again, use JP Morgan here, or use TSM to scan the percentages of the market value on your server, and don't buy them when they're expensive. Don't buy them for 17 like they are right now, when you know you can get them for 10. So wait for the prices to go back down before you buy them. Either way, that's that item. We have 3 more to go through, even though a couple of them are... We have one more item right here, the small flame sack. This one is used in making dragon breath chili, fire protection potions, and flame deflectors, all of which could become useful the next phase, especially fire protection potions and dragon breath chili. Dragon breath chili are always useful in pretty much any single phase, and will still be used in the next phase as well. And fire protection potions could be the cheap alternative to anyone who either doesn't have enough gold or wants to cheap out, but they still want to have a little bit of fire protection when they're entering Molten Core. Now, going to my service auction house, the small flame sack, they are selling for 2.1 gold. I still remember when these used to be 20 silver each or 30 silver each. Yeah, you can see they were down to 21 silver. And I've been buying quite a few of them. I still have quite a few of them, and I bought them between 21 silver and 78, so once again the spread has been massive, and they have just been continuously, constantly going up in price. Now, with that being said, that is the end of the auction house right here, but we do have a couple more items to go through, and they are based on Blasted Lands consumables, and I'm mostly focusing on the agility and strength versions here. So we have Salt of the Scorpic. This one requires 3 Scorpic pincers, 2 Vulture Gizzards, and 1 Blasted Lung, and it gives you the Scorpic Ground Assay, giving you 25 agility. You also have the strength equivalent right here, the Rage of Ages, requiring 3 Snickerfanger Jowl, 2 Blasted Boar Lungs, and 1 Scorpic Pincer. This one gives you an item that gives you 25 strength for 1 hour as well. Now, these two will still be useful in future phases, and if you can get the items required to hand this in, if you can get them cheap, you could make some pretty good gold here, because nobody wants to go back and farm in Blasted Lands in the next phase, so capitalize on people doing that now. And yeah, that's a pretty long video about investments, but I do think we have covered pretty much everything now. In the previous video, once again, we covered a bunch of things, like for example enchanting materials in the video right here, which will also be at the top of the screen, basically, like the end screen at the end of the video, so you can check that one out if you haven't already. We're talking about golden pearls, elemental earth, dense stones, all of the regular items used in other things, and in this video we have now covered a bunch of different consumables used in the next phase, like even the Blasted Lands consumables, boggling roots, alchemy, cooking, you name it. So hopefully by this point I've given you guys multiple items to invest into, and I've given you a little bit of insight into what price to aim for, or even just a little bit more information about how I personally invest by looking at the JP Morgan, for example, and don't buy items when they're super expensive. The thing is, I can tell you an item is good, but if you buy it after it's been flipped, then you will probably not make profit. So you need to have a good buy-in price, and you need to know when that buy-in price is for your server, and that is where it's very difficult for me to tell you what a good price is, because some items are really expensive on my server, but really cheap on other servers out there. Everything is just very server specific. So yeah, once again, use JP Morgan, and that's pretty much it. If you enjoyed the video, it's been about half an hour of me rambling by now and showing my investments, so hopefully you're able to make some gold in phase 4. As always, I want to thank you so much for watching. It really means a lot to me, and I hope I've been able to help you make gold, and I hope I've been helpful. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like down below, let me know your investments in the comments as well. How much gold do you guys have invested? I would love to hear, like, your TSM ledgers. I would love to hear those in the comments down below. And once again, thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it, and as always, I'll see you again in the next video very soon.